Hey folks, lyarri here. Today we're reacting to My First Night Living in San Francisco by Mostly True. I I've been to Miami a lot. I think I might know where this is going. Let's go.
This video was sponsored by Manscaped. So, when I was 18, I moved from the small town I grew up in to San Francisco. And I remember on the first night I moved into my apartment, my mom was helping me bring stuff in. Before she leaves, she's like, San Francisco's a lot different than where we're from. It's pretty dangerous out there, so don't go wandering around by yourself at night. And I'm like, yeah. What do you know about the streets, Mom? I'm pretty sure I can handle myself just fine. Because, when you're 18, you kind of just imagine yourself as like the main character of your own movie. Nothing bad can possibly happen to you. Bad stuff only happens to the side characters, So cut to 8 hours later, it's 3 a.m. and
Oh, if bad stuff happens to you, you'll just miraculously survive. RNG. Always in your favor. Till it isn't.
I'm absolutely jonesing for some Doritos. So I do exactly what my mom told me not to do, and I go wandering around looking for a 7-Eleven. And so now I'm fairly deep in a part of SF that I'm not all too familiar with. I walk past a couple of dudes who seem to be taking a dump in some sort of invisible toilet on the sidewalk. Never really seen anything like it, but hey, San Francisco's pretty high tech, so I ain't asking any questions. I turn onto a different street, and that's when I noticed two dudes walking parallel to me, but on the other side of the street. I don't really think much of it at first. I give them an ocular pat down. Everything seems normal, and then I continue on my way. That is, until I notice they seem to be looking over in my direction a little too much, if you know what I'm saying. It's like, hey man, I'm occupying this general direction of space. This is my general direction. Don't be looking over here too much. You can maybe look over here a little bit, but y'all are doing too much looking. And then I look over, and I see one of them whisper something to the other guy. And then he physically points at me, with his finger. And they both nod at each other, and then they start walking across the street directly at me. Now, I don't know how much wandering around at night by yourself you guys do, but that shit ain't normal.
That is
If
terrifying.
two people whisper to each other, point at you, and then start walking towards you at 3 a.m., something bad is probably about to happen.
Yes.
So in this moment, I'm actually scared shitless. Like, I actually thought I was about to get stabbed. So I'm considering all my options.
Okay, wait.
Well, I am a green belt in karate. Or maybe it was a yellow belt. Actually, I was on the track team. And I know parkour. Fuck it, I'm about to parkour my ass out of here. They cross the street and start walking
Spider-Man.
right next to me. And one of them goes, yo, man. And I'm like, hey. Hey. And he's like, I'm Kevin. This is Shane. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of sick fuck introduces himself to someone who he's about to stab with a knife? But I'm quaking in my boots, so I'm kind of just like, oh, what's up, dudes? How's it going? They make some random small talk about how their night is going, and then he asks me, yo, man, are you straight? And to my 18-year-old stoner psychonaut mind, for whatever reason, I think he means straight as in straight edge, as in do you do drugs? So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're just trying to sell me some mushrooms or something. So I reply, nah, I ain't straight. I'll try pretty much anything. So he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a $20 bill. And he goes, yo, man, do you want to jack off with us? And I'm like, what? No. And he's like, I thought you said you try pretty much anything. And now I'm starting to connect the dots. When they asked if I was straight, they didn't care if I did any drugs. They were they meant straight as in like, am I gay or not?
I
But
had
let me
this
just say,
experience
even if I
before.
was gay, I'm pretty sure being gay doesn't just like automatically mean you're down to like join in on a 3 a.m. alleyway circle jerk. But in fairness to those two dudes, the fact that I responded to the question of are you straight with nah, I ain't straight. I'll try pretty much anything. I can't blame them for thinking like, oh, dude, this is the guy. Like, we found the guy. He's gonna be down to jack off with us. So I'm like, I'm explaining the misunderstanding to these guys. I don't even know why the fuck I was still there. Like, I should have just ran away from the start. But for whatever reason, I'm a naive ass 18-year-old, and so I'm like, oh, just explaining the misunderstanding. And he's like, dude, you don't have to jack us off. We can just watch each other jack off, and we'll give you $20. And let's just say I came home that night with a few extra bags of Doritos. Family size, if you know what I'm saying. Nah, I'm just kidding about that part. I just, respectfully declined and they went on their way, and I ended up making it to the 7-Eleven. I secured the bag, made it home, and then I never went wandering around San Francisco at night by myself ever again, and I never told my mom that story because she would have hit me with the biggest I told you so known to mankind. But now it's time for me to tell you something about my balls. Look at these balls.
Okay.
Do you see a single hair on them? No.
No.
Because I've been using Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0. It's got a 7,000 RPM motor, replaceable ceramic blades, and
The comedic
it's
bits
waterproof.
in this
This is
video
what my
have been
balls looked like
amazing.
before,
Also, this is the
and
most
this is them
obvious ad
after using the
transition
Lawnmower
ever.
4.0. Plus, they got ball deodorant to make them smell nice and fresh. Stop
But it
spraying
works.
perfume on your balls. Manscaped's ball deodorant will give them like a legit, nice, subtle, fresh smell. You don't want any overpowering
Wow.
fragrances on your balls. They also got the weed whacker
I'm
for
not-
those hard to get nose hairs. Look,
Yeah,
guys,
this isn't for
us
me.
men are getting a bad rep online for not taking care of ourselves. Trim those hedges, get rid of that swamp ass, and make your balls smell nicer.
This is true.
Manscaped has got your
Do
back
that.
for all of your personal hygiene needs. Use code MOSTLYTRUE to get 20% off plus free shipping on your next order. If you're interested in supporting the show, using code MOSTLYTRUE at checkout is one way to do it. Thank you, Manscaped, for making my balls smooth again. Anyways, back to the story. I shouldn't have told my friends that story years ago when it first happened, because for the longest time, they were just like, dude, you for sure took that $20. And I'm like, I didn't, dude. I didn't take the $20. But whatever. And so the moral of the story is just listen to your mom. Guys, anyone watching, just listen to your goddamn mom.
It can be good advice. Can be good advice. Sometimes it isn't. You can be the judge for that. I actually really like this video. I would say, like, I kind of like the 7 levels of high, but this was just a really neat little story, I feel like. Like, and the way he transitioned between jokes was just really solid. I was a fan. Um, this dude never misses. I've liked every video I've seen by him. I watched the how to pee in toilets one or whatever. But I never uploaded that video. I kind of forgot. um, as someone who's lived in SF half my life, this is 100% accurate. I wouldn't know, but like, okay. So I said before that I had that experience where someone asked me if I was straight and I thought they meant straight edge. That was in that wasn't really a funny story. That was just like in high school. But also, I had a friend who like would always every year in high school, he would come back with this story of like getting like chased by a dude while he was out running. And like it's so hard to tell if he was memeing or not because he was a huge memer. But like he like years later would still say, yeah, all that stuff really happened. Like there were 3 years in a row. I don't know why, but different people chased me, and I think like a few of like I think they had knives, and like I don't know. I feel bad for him. That sounds scary. Uh, Besides that, I've been to Miami quite a bit, like, and especially like the Wynwood type area and stuff. You definitely interact with some interesting folks. Um, yeah, this video went different than how I thought it would. Like he kind of baited you with the homeless people. He was like a lot of people equate San Francisco and California with like scary homeless people, which I don't think is like completely fair all the time. Obviously, like I've been to Miami. I know like different areas in Miami where there's a ton of homeless folk. But yeah, anyways, so what was I saying? Um, yeah, no, I just think like it's very fun, like the type of interactions you get with folks in these kinds of areas, and especially like just because there's so many people, it's like there's a frequency to it. It's just funny. I don't know, like obviously in like I'm fortunate to live in an area where like within driving distance of me there's a fair amount of variety. I can get a lot of different types of vibes. And like definitely like, different places all have their own different like random conversation vibe. Um to be fair, like when you go to like more folksy places, like often you can get like neat little cute conversations with like a grandma who's kind of swell and stuff like that. And like that exists too. Yeah, let's read more comments. My favorite San Fran story. A friend of mine visited there for a conference. And they notice this guy standing on a corner holding two giant branches from a bush. And he notices them and kind of motions to be quiet. Then he holds the two branches in front of him and crouches down, so he's hidden behind the foliage, right? And somebody walks right next to him without noticing, and he jumps out and scares the living shit out of the person. Then he throws down a hat and takes a bow to all the people laughing nearby. He was a homeless person, and his show is scaring people from behind a bush prop. Absolutely genius. Yeah. I feel like the type of person who would typically donate money to a homeless person would also appreciate that in general. And then would also donate more because of the thought behind it. Um, as someone who was born and raised in, like, I would definitely, um, as someone who was born and raised in San Francisco Bay Area, this story is mild but so accurate. I personally had so many strange encounters like this one. Gotta love spending 10K a month to live in a dorm amongst homeless heroin addicts at your front door. The views can be incredible though. Well, I wonder why they're homeless. No, but it's important to note also, as far my understanding is California actually allows homeless people to like live in public areas, which is something that a lot of like states don't do, and as a result, you kind of get these stories to a large degree, and you could criticize them for like not going the next step in a lot of ways. I don't know. I don't know too much about homeless like issues in California, homelessness issues in California. So I'm not the best source here. Your content is as always fucking golden. You're like a stoner Domix. I don't know who Domix is. More casual, casually explained. I see that kinda. I think, yeah, I think they're definitely different styles, but I see like the vibe, the comparison you can make. I love casually explained, great videos. I would react if he makes new ones, but he hasn't in a while, so something like this happened to me a year ago. Some guy, probably twice my age, wanted me to accompany him into a bar. It took over 15 minutes for him to understand I wouldn't follow him. He was frustrated and called the cops, and I had to explain the whole situation. Yeah, that's um as a fellow stoner, I can understand the need to grab a succulent bag of Doritos at 3 a.m. Nothing, not even the potential to run into creeps, could stop the desire to grab some much needed munchies. This is super true. If you're like stoned as shit, like you just want to go get food, be happy, vibe. When 3 a.m. Stalker introduces himself by name, that's the moment you realize you're safe or in way more danger than you thought you were. True. All right. This was honestly like a great video. It made me happy to watch it. Obviously, this is one of the videos I've laughed the most during, just because his delivery was incredible to me. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Hope you have a great one. Bye. Hey, folks, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.